You are listening to Ablaze Bible Reflections. Today's passage is Luke chapter 14, verses 15 to 35, read by Isioma. With or without me. One of the greatest mistakes a person can make in life is believing they're indispensable. When someone begins to think that everything depends on them, that without them nothing will work, and everything will fall apart, they unknowingly fall into a subtle self-delusion. This distorts both purpose and perspective, and in the end, hurts the person. The work of God, the mission of His kingdom, His plan for the world, His plan for His people, and even His purposes for society will go on with or without us. It is far better for us to get on board, to move with God, to join His work, and to faithfully fulfill the purpose for which He created us, than to stand apart from it. But whether we join or not, His work will continue and be accomplished. In Luke chapter 14, verses 16 to 25, Jesus tells the parable of a man who prepares a great banquet. He invited many and sent his servant to say to those who had been invited, "Come, for everything is now ready." But they all began to make excuses. One said he had bought a field and needed to go out and see it. Another said he had bought 5 yoke of oxen and wanted to examine them. Another said he had married a wife and therefore could not come. These excuses represent the very things that occupy their lives, just as they do ours. Some are focused on possessions, others on work and business, and still others on relationships. None of these things is evil in itself, but they become distractions when they take the place of God's call, when we use them as excuses to neglect our primary duties and calling. When the servant returned and reported the excuses, the master did not cancel the banquet. Instead, he sent him out again to bring in others. Those who were not originally invited ended up filling the table. The mission continued. Nothing stopped. We must never think we are so important, so gifted, or so necessary that everything depends on us. Life goes on. God's work goes on. There is a true life story of a secretary who was in charge of preparing a very important conference in his organization. It was a major event, and he took full responsibility for it. As he prepared, everything else in his life slowly faded into the background. At home, his wife and children sought his attention, but he was always busy. At work, he withdrew from colleagues and refused help. He even neglected prayer and rest. Morning, afternoon, and night, his focus remained the same, the conference. It consumed him completely, and he ensured every detail was perfectly arranged. On the day of the conference, the hall was ready, the guests were seated, and everything was set up. He stepped away briefly to freshen up before returning to begin the program, but he never came back. After some time, someone was sent to check on him, and they found that he had collapsed. The overall boss was informed. He paused, bowed his head for a moment, and said, "The coordinator of this conference has sadly passed. May God rest his soul. May God grant him eternal rest." Then he lifted his head and calmly said, "Let us proceed to the first item on the agenda." Everyone opened their documents, and the meeting continued. Nothing stopped. Someone else stepped in, first temporarily, then permanently. The work went on. This may sound harsh, but is the reality of life. Even while a person is still present, thoughts of replacement already exist. Life continues. Systems continue. People adjust and move forward. So when we are called, when we are invited to be part of something greater than ourselves, we must understand it rightly. It is an opportunity and indeed a privilege. So let us not stand aside. Let us not make excuses. Let us not assume that the work cannot go on without us. It will go on. With or without me, the work of God will go on. God bless you. Stay close to the Word, the Ablaze team.